demonstrations for several days and produced an artificial increase in prices. Oluyole also accused opportunistic retailers of exploiting the shortfall to hike prices. He, however, assured Nigerians that as supply chains stabilize, the cooking gas price is expected to ease in the coming weeks. Cooking gas prices have skyrocketed across Nigeria, with Lagos residents now paying between 2,500 naira and 3,000 naira per kilogram as scarcity grips major cities. Oil workers under the aegis of Pengasan began a strike action over the dismissal of Nigerian workers by the Dangote refinery, but suspended it on October 1 after federal government's intervention.
Meanwhile, the federal government today emphasized the critical importance of the 650,000 barrel per day Dangote refinery, declaring that it must be supported at all costs to succeed. The government's position was stated by Vice President Shettima and emphasized by the Minister of Budget and National Planning, Senator Bagudu, at the opening of the Nigerian Economic Summit 2025 in Abuja. The government said the $20 billion facility is a national asset that must be supported to function. Following last week's industrial action by oil workers under the aegis of the Petroleum and Natural Gas Senior Staff Association of Nigeria, Pengasan, Vice President Kashim Shettima declared that Nigeria is greater than Pengasan. VP Shettima called for caution, retrospection, and a deeper sense of patriotism from both labor and the organized private sector in defining and improving the relationship between labor and industry in the interest of maintaining the nation's steadily improving economic fortunes.
As Nigeria joins the rest of the world to mark the Breast Cancer Awareness Month, the First Lady, Oluyole, has called on women to prioritize their health through regular self-examination and timely medical screening. The First Lady made a call and a message today to commemorate the 2025 edition, emphasizing the importance of solidarity, early detection, and regular medical screening among women. She described health consciousness as an essential part of national well-being, saying that the early detection remains crucial in saving lives. She urged Nigerians to use the Awareness Month to support survivors, raise public consciousness, and encourage proactive steps towards better health.
The Senate has ruled out what it described as unprecedented achievements in lawmaking, economic reforms, and governance under the leadership of its principal. This was stated today by Kenny Okolugbo, the media aide to Senate President Gospel Akpabio, adding that the 10th Senate has within its 2 years passed more than 90 bills, out of which 52 have been signed into law by President Bola Tinubu. He said the upper chamber has contributed immensely to stabilizing the economy, improving fiscal policies, and promoting inclusive development across the country. According to him, interventions by the Senate have helped strengthen the naira and reduce inflation, which currently stands at 20.12%, showing a 4.23% improvement in recent months. Okolugbo said the achievements of the 10th Senate proves that legislative effectiveness is not measured by confrontation with the executive, but by constructive collaboration that delivers tangible results for Nigerians.
The Deputy Speaker of the House of Representatives, Benjamin Kalu, has said that Nigeria needs a constitution capable of allowing its democracy to thrive. Kalu made a declaration today at a consultative session with the national chairman, secretaries, and women leaders of the registered political parties in Abuja. The Deputy Speaker, who also doubles as the chairman, House Committee on Constitution Review, said although the nation has witnessed a giant leap in its democratic journey since 1999, more needs to be done to make democracy work. The 10th House, led by Speaker Tajuddin Abbas, in collaboration with the Senate, is reviewing identified clauses of the 1999 Constitution in a bid to deepen governance and make democracy count for the people. Carlo urged leaders of the political parties to study the bills before them and make their input known to the committee for possible consideration and adoption.
The Chief Justice of Nigeria, Justice Kudirat Kekereekun, has tasked all the heads of courts in the country to initiate policies aimed at enhancing the mental well-being of judges. According to the CJN, physical and mental health play a vital role in sustaining the quality of judgment and overall effectiveness of judicial officers. Speaking today at the opening ceremony of the 2025 Roundtable for Heads of Courts, organized by the National Judicial Institute, Justice Kekereekun said it was encouraging to note that the global judicial community has begun to place increased emphasis on the issue. The administrator of the institute, Justice Babatunde Adejumo, said it is crucial that judges stay abreast of emerging trends, welcome innovations, and adopt best practices that will sustain the integrity of courts.
The Oyo State Governor, Engineer Seyi Makinde, has charged the judiciary to embrace innovation and explore the use of technology to ensure the smooth dispensation of justice. Governor Makinde, who gave the charge at the 2025-26 legal year service, also reiterated his commitment to the rule of law enforcement, and the course of justice in the state. BCO's reporter Olamide Owolabi, who attended the service held at the Cathedral of St. James the Great, Okebola, Ibadan, files some details.
The Chief Judge of Oyo State, Honorable Justice Iyabo Yerima, led members of the bar and bench in a Thanksgiving service at the Cathedral of St. James the Great, Okebola, to mark the commencement of the 2025-2026 legal year. The service provided an opportunity for members of the judiciary to reflect on past achievements and challenges and to as well set priorities for the year ahead. In his address, Governor Seyi Makinde, who was represented by the Attorney General and Commissioner for Justice in Oyo State, Abiodun Aikomo, commended the judiciary in the state for upholding the rule of law and also appreciated the people of Oyo State for their continued trust in judiciary despite the challenges faced in accessing justice. Speaking on his guiding principles for the new legal year, the governor urged members of the judiciary to ensure the timely pursuit of justice, strengthen integrity and accountability, and rededicate themselves to the ideals of fairness and equity.
We also support the Commission of Fairness and Magistrates, ensuring to meet and efficiency in their needs. In addition, we are confident in being members of the Judicial Service Commission, thereby enforcing institutional freedom for the judicial system and administration.
In the sermon, the Bishop of Ibadan, the Diocese, the Most Reverend Joseph Akifenwa, stated that the judiciary should acknowledge God in their successes and do His will. He admonished judges to let righteousness reign in all their actions and to uphold the fear of God in dispensing justice.
The first and important thing is acknowledgement. To acknowledge that behind our successes is always God. It's not of our own acquisition. It is by God's divine providence that has put us where we are, and therefore we must be seen to be doing in the mind of God. We will give account to God Almighty.
In our remarks, the Chief Judge of Oyo State, Honorable Justice Iyabo Yerima, appreciated Governor Seyi Makinde for consistently prioritizing the judiciary, noting that the sector has witnessed notable improvements under his administration.
Our courts have gone digitalized. There are so many things that have improved, and you'll see that it's not the judiciary you used to know before. We have gone ballistic, we have gone higher and higher. So with this very good environment, and then there's a lot of comfort for even the judges. Expect better.
The service, which had in attendance the state head of service, Mrs. Oluyole, also featured special prayers for the nation, Oyo State, political leaders, and the judiciary. Oluyole, Business News.
Also, in a similar event to mark the commencement of the 2025-2026 legal year, Muslim members of the Oluyole State Judiciary gathered for a special service to seek God's guidance, wisdom and peace for the judiciary and the nation in the year ahead. BCOS reporter Oluyole presents details of the event held at the Oluyole State High Court Mosque, Ring Road, Ibadan.
Muslim members of the bench and bar in Oyo State came together in worship to usher in the new legal year. Verses from the Holy Quran were recited as the congregation offered prayers for the judiciary, government officials, and the nation. In a sermon, Professor Abdulhafiz Oladosu of the Department of Arabic and Islamic Studies, University of Ibadan, explained that true justice in Islam is founded on fairness, truth, equity, and the fear of Allah, adding that when justice is rightly served, it brings peace and strengthens the moral fabric of society. Professor Oladosu further advised members of the judiciary in Oyo State to remain united and avoid actions that could cause division among them.
That is, there are no exceptions when it comes to justice in Islam. It is an early articulation of the principle of judicial equality, certainly before it becomes a universal legal norm that has been there in Islam right since the Prophet was alive. Another aspect of justice in Islam is that the judge is seen as a trustee of justice, and that is amana, which means that if you are in the position that you are now, my babas and mama in the higher table, you are representing Allah. It is an amana. It is a trusting. It is a trust that Allah has given to you. You must protect that trust, that trust very well, because we will be accountable in the sight of Almighty Allah on the day of judgment.
In his goodwill message, the representative of Are Musulumi of Yoruba land, Edo and Delta states, Sheikh Muhyiddin Nojimdin, urged the lawyers to let righteousness and fairness guide their decision, noting that justice is a trust from Allah. Subsequently, the Chief Judge of Oyo State, Justice Iyabo Yerima, led other justice in inspecting the guard of honor set up by the officers of the Nigeria Police. Adeola Oladele, BCOS News.
This broadcast of Newscope comes to you from the Broadcasting Corporation of Oyo State, Ibadan. The operations officer of the Oyo State Amotekun Corps, Magaji Kazim Akero, has called on members of the public to collaborate with the security outfit to strengthen safety and peace within their communities and across the state. He made this call during the official commissioning of the newly built Amotekun security posts in the Akintola community, Egbeda local government area in Ibadan. BCS reporter Faith Adekunle has details from the event held within the community premises.
That was the head of operations, Oyo State Amotekun Corps, Magaji Kazim Akiro, officially commissioning the newly constructed security post donated by the Akingbade Akintola community. The project aims to enhance surveillance and ensure prompt response to security challenges within the area and the state at large. In his address, Magaji Kazim Akiro assured residents of continued security presence and swift response to distress calls. He further warned that anyone found violating the law would be made to face the full consequences of their actions.
They build it for the community, not for Hausa, not for Yoruba, but for the safety of the community. Who did the wrong thing will be punishable by law.
In his remarks, the chairman of the Akingbade community, Alhaji Gbadamosi Olaya, expressed gratitude to residents for their unwavering support and contributions towards the success of the project.
Security ló wà fún ààbò gbogbo àdúgbò yìí àti fún ìpínlẹ̀ Ọ̀yọ́ lápapọ̀ láti jẹ́ kó mọ̀ pé a fẹ́ ràn ìjọba lọ́wọ́ fún ààbò ìlú wa tá a wà yìí. Ìyẹn ló mú akọ́ ilé Àmọ̀tẹ́kùn fún wọn níbí.
Delivering their goodwill messages, the chairman of the building committee, Alhaji Yunusa Adedeji, and other community members also lauded the initiative, describing it as a proactive step that would help reduce crime and strengthen cooperation between residents and the Àmọ̀tẹ́kùn Corps.
Ọlọ́run ti ṣètò ẹ̀ fún wa báyìí, àwa ni ká wá gba àlàáfíà láàyè, kó ní kálukú ká rìn nílànà òfin, ká dẹ̀ ṣiṣẹ́ tí òfin yọ́nú sí. Tá a bá dẹ̀ rí ohunkóhun tó lè dé ààbò àdúgbò yìí lọ́wọ́ tàbí àwọn community tí wọ́n lè gbé wá, ká tètè máa fi tó àwọn ilé tó ààbò létí.
It is Akingbade community, so we are doing to better support the government in terms of security, and it will help this community to secure the security, because as we all know that security is affecting us in this country in Nigeria. So that's why we are putting this on our special assignment.
With the commissioning of the new security posts, residents of the Akingbade community expressed optimism that safety and peace will be further enhanced as Àmọ̀tẹ́kùn officers begin full operations within the area. Faith Adekunle, BCS News.
The Nigeria Customs Service (NCS) Summer Area Command has convened a high-level stakeholders meeting aimed at curbing border-related crimes, removing trade barriers and promoting legitimate commerce along the Summer border corridor. The meeting brought together representatives from the National Drug Law Enforcement Agency (NDLEA), Nigerian Immigration Service (NIS), Nigerian Army, Federal Road Safety Corps (FRSC), traditional rulers, trade associations, clearing agents, and community leaders. Speaking at the forum, the area controller Wale Adenuga, expressed concern over the continued existence of unwholesome practices and multiple checkpoints along the border route. He urged security agencies and border communities to collaborate in addressing challenges that could tarnish the country's image and impede regional trade. On the spot, the Oba of Kweme Kingdom in Badagry, Oba Sejiro Gobe, expressed appreciation to the customs for reducing frequent clashes between customs and smugglers in communities, which he said often lead to avoidable deaths.
The National Association of Academic Technologists has given the federal government a 14-day ultimatum to address all demands, including renegotiation of the 2009 agreement. The association, in a statement today, signed by its president, Comrade Ebeje Nwokoma, said though it was open to dialogue, it would not give any further notice if there was no action from the government after the 2 weeks. NAT said if the government fails to attend to their demands before the expiration of the 14-day ultimatum, which started on October 5, it will be left with no other option than to declare an industrial action. According to the statement, the ultimatum was sequel to the outcome of the 60th regular meeting of its National Executive Council, presided over by Comrade Nwokoma at the Federal University Lafia at the weekend. NAT categorically stated that it rejected and cannot accept the idea of disparity and distortions in salary tables of university staff, and appeals to the government to avoid any action that could precipitate a crisis in the system.
On the foreign scene, French Prime Minister Sébastien Lecornu has stepped down just weeks after taking office and hours after naming a cabinet, further deepening the country's long-running political crisis. The French presidency, in a statement today, noted that President Emmanuel Macron has accepted his close ally's resignation. Appointed nearly a month ago, Lecornu had come under increasing pressure in recent weeks as he struggled to pass a budget through France's fractured parliament amid a debt crisis. He named his ministers on Sunday evening but quit his post hours later making his government one of the shortest lived in French history.
To end this edition of Newscope, here again are the main points. The Group Chief Executive of the Nigerian National Petroleum Company Limited, NNPCL, Bayo Ojulari, has attributed the recent scarcity in cooking gas to a temporary loading and disruption during the strike action by the Petroleum and Natural Gas Senior Staff Association of Nigeria, Pengusin.
The Chief Justice of Nigeria, Justice Kudirat Kekerieko, has tasked all the heads of courts in the country to initiate policies aimed at enhancing mental well-being of judges.
The Oyo State Governor, Engineer Seyi Makinde, has charged the judiciary to embrace innovation and explore the use of technology to ensure the smooth dispensation of justice.
On the foreign scene, French Prime Minister Sébastien Lecornu has stepped down just weeks after taking office and hours after naming a cabinet, further deepening the country's long-running political crisis.
That's all from Newscope Desk for now. It was packaged by Ajedoyin Olojede and delivered by Oluyole, Olatubosun and
Idowu Shekoni. Thanks for listening, and don't forget to tune in for the Yoruba version at 8 p.m. Good evening.
ọ̀pọ̀ ti sún ó ṣẹ̀dẹ̀ rí bó ṣe wá mọ́lẹ̀ kedere. fẹ́ni tó ti gbọ́ kó sọ fẹ́ni tí ò gbọ́ o. PCOS bàbá wa lágbà adìẹ. ẹṣin tó ṣíwájú ó ti gbà kú kíni náà. tó bá fẹ́ polówó jàkájẹ́.